Hey there viewers, and welcome to Get Well Stay Well on Revelation TV. My name is Cyrus Fernando, and as every week, absolutely delighted to be joined by Felicity. How are you doing, Felicity?
Hello there, so I'm absolutely fine, full of energy and full of the green juice as well, so here we go.
Every week we talk about the green juices, we talk about the lifestyle and being healthy. Why is it so important for us to be healthy, Felicity?
Well, then we can do what we're meant to be doing here on earth. I think that's the main thing, and feel well and happy while we're doing it, because it makes a huge difference as to what we're eating and drinking and breathing and thinking as well. And I'm really excited because Leslie's going to start her Super Juice Me on Monday, so it's going to be really exciting. And I was on the phones with her last night and she said, please show the Super Juice Me book. This is Jason Vale, and I think it's going to be great fun, and Leslie's going to be telling us all about it on Monday.
Yeah, we've all, quite a few of us in the office and some of us in the studio, we're all going to join in and get involved, and more importantly, it's finding the perfect juice that suits each and every individual as well, isn't it? That's so important, because it's great that you do the juicing, but it's also more important that you keep it up. So for example, this is a 28 juice plan, but it's what happens after the 28, which is all after the 28 days, which is also very important, isn't it?
That's right, it's the maintenance start, and I can help people with that. I'm going to be doing a little phone line, sort of free phone line for people, a helpline on Monday mornings, I think, in the office. Oh. So it's going to be fun, and chatting with the viewers who are all, you know, so interested and really moving towards the healthy lifestyle. Some people faster than others, but the great thing is every move in the right direction is good.
So this plan that we're looking to do, this 28-day challenge, 28-day plan, what does that consist of exactly?
Well, Leslie's really going to be talking about that, I think, and it's basically, I read it through, it's really interesting. It's rather like my Gerson therapy that got me well so many years ago, and which I still maintain, because as you say, it's important to maintain the thing going on. It's not something that you just do. It's not a diet that you do for a few days, for 28 days. This is really a new program. It's a new lifestyle. And that's the thing that keeps you healthy and fit. And thanks to Karen yesterday, lovely game of golf. And, you know, it's really great to get out and take some exercise.
The beauty of something like the 28 juice plan or or any other kind of juicing, anything to do with juicing, is you basically accustom it to what you like. So for example, if you like certain vegetables or certain fruits, for example, you can include those. There's so much variety to choose from, isn't there? But more importantly is you don't only have to be juicing all the way through the day. You can accustom that to how you feel best as well. Well,
Leslie's going to be explaining exactly how. I think it's 4 juices basically, and some are thinner juices and some are thicker juices, as we do as well. I mean, I like the thin juices basically in the morning. And today we've got one with some green peppers in, which is why it's a slightly different colour, but it's good. And you know, you can either have the orange juice, you can have the different juices, the berry juices I love as well, and beetroot, you can put all these good things in. So I think it's quite fun to do this programme.
Excellent. Great. What is in today's juice list?
Well, there's peppers and the usual things, you know, there's the apple and there's the cucumber and there's some grapes and all kinds of good things just thrown in. I just throw in what I have, really.
Excellent. Fantastic. So we're going to kick today's show off with a little bit of fun. We're going to go to a VT now. This is talking how we all need to exercise. This is all of us. Let's take a look at this. Welcome back, viewers. Just a little bit of fun there, but I guess the principle is we all need to be moving a little bit, don't we, Felicity?
Absolutely, and I love the way the bird was moving, you know, absolutely
That bird
great.
has some good rhythm.
Yeah, and you know, when I used to play my piano outside in Portugal, I had big French windows there, and one day I thought, there's someone watching me, and I looked up, and there they were. There were 8 bluebirds that were all sitting on the tree outside, and they were listening to the music. The birds do love music, and dogs do as well. All animals love music.
I think music is it's fantastic because you feel inspired sometimes as well when you listen to music, and you feel like you can do exercise, and it kind of takes your mind off things. Like, for example, if I go jogging or if I go running or anything like that, you don't start thinking of, oh, I'm starting to get tired now. You're kind of distracted, really, aren't you?
That's why I think it's the dancing is such fun, you know, if you can dance for exercise. And especially when the weather's so cold in UK, that people can actually exercise indoors. They don't have to go out in the snow. So, yeah, it's absolutely great and really important for the children, because Howard was talking about childhood obesity just now. And, you know, to follow on from that, it's really great when the children are out and doing sport and dancing and just having fun, and you know, they want to move, don't they? Children love to move.
Exactly. So, I mean, what can we do to protect our children, because it's publicised in the news recently about the child obesity at the moment. What can we do to protect our children, Felicity?
Well, the great thing is to keep them off the sugar, isn't it, really? Because we are so addicted to sugar, and it's high time that you know, the parents really got educated about it and stopped feeding them all the commercial sugars that are so bad for the body. Because, you know, I have a lot of mothers who have children with ADDH and, you know, all these sort of little problems that children have when they're literally eating junk food. But, you know, it's cheap, and that's why a lot of people are really reduced to putting the children on these junk foods. And of course, the school lunches have not been good, and Jamie Oliver has done a lot to try and educate the schools to get better food. And I talk to my grandchildren's schools, you know, about that as well. And I think there is a move now towards waking up and realizing we're all on the wrong sugars, fats and salts. And we have to get back to real food and, you know, not the irradiated food that they have very often in hospitals. You get irradiated food, you know, which of course has got no living enzymes left in it at all. So they say people are better fed and getting better nutrition actually at home than you are in hospital. And in some parts of the world, the hospitals detox you when you go in. So there's none of this business of, you know, what would you like, the meat or the fish or something? They'll give you vegetables. And that's really the basis of it. It would save the NHS so much money if people ate a healthy diet. They wouldn't be sick in the first place.
Now, going back to exercise and protecting our children, us as parents, we've got a responsibility, obviously, to make sure our children are active. And it can be as simple as a family going out for a walk once a week, just to start things off with, going for a little walk around their little neighbourhood for 10 minutes, just to start getting that child a little bit more active. That could help, couldn't it?
Absolutely, yes, that's right. And, you know, the children have fun now. They go on the scooters and they start bicycles quite young with a little tricycle. And, you know, it's all great fun. And basically they just want to get moving, don't they?
So let's say we have some older viewers out there who might not be as mobile. What sort of exercise can you recommend for them?
Well, we go back to the resistance bands for getting the flexibility going, playing any sport that they can do. Hopefully people are getting out and you know, really, if they've played sport in the past, they can keep doing it to maybe a slightly modified way, but you know, maybe 9 holes instead of 18 holes at golf, or just getting out, swinging a racket for tennis, whatever. But just to keep going with the exercise, it's so important. And of course the dancing, rebounding, as I'm always saying. The rebound is wonderful. And you can do that indoors as well. And just moving, you know, just when you're watching TV, just standing up and bouncing slightly on the heels. And, you know, it's just getting the lymph moving.
Exactly. Well, we were talking earlier about obesity. Let's take a look at our next VT, and this is talking why we have obesity problems today.
There are certain key steps that people can take to help them lose weight. And one of the most important steps they can take is to get their blood sugar levels under control. What we have found, Dr. Michael Line and I, is that when people are on what we call the blood sugar roller coaster, it becomes virtually impossible for them to control their appetite. And that's the real problem leading to this epidemic. 8 out of 10 Americans over the age of 25 are overweight or are obese. And the reason is that when we overconsume calories, it leads to increase in abdominal fat. And these abdominal fat cells collectively start acting like a tumor. And what does a tumor want to do? It wants to grow. So how do these fat cells grow? They grow by secreting compounds that block the action of insulin. Insulin is a hormone that unlocks channels that allows glucose and other nutrients to enter into the cell. But when you develop insulin resistance because of these compounds being secreted by the fat cells, inside of our cells become virtually nutrient deficient. So our brain cells, they get the message that they're starving, because they are starving. There's a nutrient deficiency within the center of these cells. So then they start sending out signals for people to eat. And they tend to promote eating foods that are going to quickly raise our blood sugar levels, and that is counterproductive. So learning to eat in a way to help stabilize blood sugar levels is the most important health goal and dietary goal in America, because it's so important in addressing the underlying core issues of obesity, type 2 diabetes, and the metabolic syndrome.
It used to be an adult problem. It's really become pretty big in kids, hasn't it, today?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's going to be alarming. You know, we've seen the obesity rate increase dramatically in adults, but it's even higher in children. And it's amazing. I have children, and I was looking at my son's class picture a couple years ago, and I couldn't believe how big the kids were. And he wanted to see my class picture when I was in 4th grade. So I showed him my 4th grade class picture. And what was interesting, Lyle, was that the kid that we called the fat kid, he would not, you'd maybe call him a bit stocky by today's standards, but he wasn't fat by today's standards. That was very interesting for me to see that. So yeah, things have changed dramatically, and it's really sad, and we have to help these kids make changes in their diet, lifestyle, and get them going on a route that's going to help them sustain their ideal body weight for the rest of their lives.
Doesn't that mean that the parents should also become monitors of where the kids are eating and what they're eating? I mean, they claim that every family eats at least 2 or 3 or maybe 5 fast food meals from McDonald's or wherever it is a month or a day or a week. I'm not sure, but that must really contribute to this too.
Absolutely, and like I said, it's a multifactorial issue, and the portion sizes that we have today are much greater than they were, 10, 20 years ago. And even what are now considered kid sizes, many of those were adult sizes not too long ago. So yeah, we have to make changes.
Hi there, viewers, and welcome back. Just talking about the obesity problem, I mean, how has our diets, or how has diet changed over the last, say, 50 years?
Oh, dramatically, because we used to have real food, and then we started having the convenience foods, and we started having microwaves, which of course kill the living enzymes. And so really the whole food picture has changed dramatically. And people also used to grow their own food. And now they go to a supermarket and they buy it. And the children, some of the children don't even know, that carrots and potatoes come out of the ground. They think they come out of a plastic bag in the supermarket, like you buy clothes. And so, yeah, it's changed tremendously over my lifetime.
I was going to ask, do you think as a society we have become more lazy? Because if you look, say, as an example, like they've got the convenience, they call it the convenience stores in the US, for example, and it's all about making our life easier. So we may be not putting as much effort into looking after ourselves. We're not putting enough effort to take the extra time to maybe grow our own fruits or vegetables or be eating the right foods. We're just doing the fast foods, shall we say, as well.
That's right, and people are using cars for short journeys as well. We used to be growing our own food, be busy out in the fields, and then we would walk, large distances. And people don't even want to go down the end of the block now. You know, they get the car out. It's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, things have changed dramatically. And so our epidemic of obesity has grown up absolutely during the last, I would say, 40 years. And it's just sad to see the children looking so fat. But, you know, we can reverse this. The great thing is God has given us these amazing bodies with an immune system that can get well again if only we give it the right nutrients. Yeah. So we have to come back to it's education. It's really education.
Do you think our schools should be doing more of education to be eating?
Yeah, I think they should, because they'll be educating the parents as well. Yeah. You know, the children will come home and say, no, I don't want those sugars. I don't want to eat sweets. And so that will make a huge difference to the parents, because I think the parents have grown up in this culture and then brought up their children up in this junk food culture. And it's, you know, the thing is, it's a great treat to go out. They say, oh, let's go to, you know, the pizza place or the hamburger place. That's it, yeah. And that's a sort of fun thing to do. Yes. But when I was in America recently, I was interested that Starbucks are actually selling some organic fresh fruit salads. Fantastic. You know, I thought that was absolutely great. Yeah. So it's the market demand that runs this thing. So as the public refuse to buy junk food, you know, they will give an alternative.
Now, talk to me about sugars as well. The sugar is such a vital part of the diet, and obesity, cause of obesity as well, isn't it?
Well, the sugar causes inflammation in the body, and that sets off rheumatoid arthritis and all kinds of diseases, diabetes, for instance. And so really we have to eliminate those sugars. That's why when we go on to the juicing, we juice vegetables so much better than the fruit. So to start with, you can put maybe an apple in, you know, just to make it taste nice, or a little bit of grapes, as I've done today. But basically, it's the green vegetables that the chlorophyll that give us the energy that we need. It's the action of the sunshine on the green plant that makes the chlorophyll, and then of course all the different colors produce different nutrients for us. So we get the lycopene from tomatoes and resveratrol from the darker red things. And you know, God's given us a rainbow, a beautiful rainbow of food. If you know, I go into the market and I see those vegetable and fruit stalls, they look fabulous. The colors are so beautiful.
But I think that's interesting you say that. I think that's due to education as well. Is you obviously know, and your mind is kind of programmed in the way that the right foods are good for you and healthy, and you're used to eating that. Now, maybe the average person who isn't as educated as yourself towards eating the right foods might go into the same supermarket or the market and see the same fruits and vegetables and might not have that same reaction. Whereas if they walk in past a pizza restaurant and they smell the smell of a pizza, they'll have the same reaction that you have with your fruits and vegetables.
Well, I think one of the nicest smells is garlic, hot garlic, you know, absolutely gorgeous. So I do flavor my vegetables a lot with beautiful herbs, and especially the garlic, and other times I use ginger. But that makes it really interesting. And I think, you know, we need to come back to having our little herb garden, as I have. Yes. Lovely to have the herb garden. Lovely to use these things and make the food really interesting. So the curried vegetables, you know, which can also have the turmeric, the curcumin, the cumin, all these lovely things are so healthy, and they smell good and they taste good. And I think people, you know, people are really attracted to this gorgeous smell. You come in the house and there's beautiful curry cooking.
It's excellent that you've mentioned about the curried vegetables, because maybe some of the viewers that watch our program might think, don't only ever talk about juicing. That's my whole diet for the rest of my day, morning, noon, and night. But there is everything. It's having the healthy diet, like you've said there. You've got the curried vegetables that. It's tasty. There's so much choices out there for the viewers, isn't there?
Absolutely, and you can make these beautiful breads, you know, with buckwheat sprouts and different kinds of bread, not wheat bread. And it tastes absolutely gorgeous, and you can make vegan cheeses as well. And I've got this little recipe book, you know, with basic ideas in. And it's really great because things taste so good, and I really love my food. I love the diet that I'm now on, which is God's diet, the fruit, vegetables, seeds, nuts, and green plant, you know, from Genesis 1:29 and 30. And that is God's creation diet, and there's no getting away from it. Because sometimes people criticize and say, oh, you know, you're always talking about the Genesis diet. Again, it's in the Daniel diet of the vegetables and the water. And we know that the food that Jesus ate, like the fish and the roast meat, which he would have had as the Jewish feast, that was a rare occasion, and it's completely different to the kind of meat and fish we have now, from polluted rivers, from polluted seas. And, you know, things have changed dramatically. So the bread, for instance, isn't the same as the bread of the Bible, the Emma wheat, which was so nutritious. So nowadays we can have the other breads like spelt bread, and it tastes really good. And make, you know, breads with olives in and fruity breads, absolutely gorgeous. So
how do you do that, Felicity? Give an idea to our viewers.
Well, they've got to really look in my recipe book. I can't tell you offhand exactly how I make it just like that.
Yeah.
But I made it last weekend, and it was absolutely super.
Fantastic.
Using coconut oils as well.
Excellent.
And buckwheat sprouts. And you can put some nuts in as well.
Wonderful.
But the fun thing really is that you can experiment with it. You don't have to stick with one particular recipe.
Yeah.
And as you gain confidence in it, you know, you can put different things in.
Well, it's the same principle with the juicing as well, isn't it? It's trial and error, so to speak. You can obviously just try the different ingredients and see whichever one works for you.
That's right. And every family has their favorites. But I think, you know, to look forward to a hot meal in the evening is really special. So, you know, hot baked potato in its jacket, or baked sweet potato, which is lovely. Do you like sweet potatoes?
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah, they're good.
Absolutely.
So it's fun, and I think at the end of the day, if you've been on juicing all day, it's nice to have something warm in the evening, especially in the cold weather.
So in your opinion, do you think we should be juicing through the day and just have a nice meal in the evening? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's what I do. I just have juices in the morning. I think it's much better to be fresh, you know, in the mind. And once you've had, say, the big egg and bacon breakfast, you know, you want to go to sleep after that, and then a coffee and donut at, you know, mid-morning. So to have the energy, you've got to have living foods, because then you get the electricity and the magnetism from the fruits and the vegetables, the fresh ones. And that's, you know, that's all I need really until tonight. So I just go through with juices.
Wonderful. Well, we're talking about delicious foods. Let's take a look at our next VT. This is with Jamie Oliver, preparing an absolutely gorgeous, delicious, wonderful and superb salad. Because we were just saying, Felicity, it can be interesting and it can be tasty, and it doesn't have to be boring. Let's take a look at this VT and we'll be right back.
Right guys, I want to show you a little bit about salads, get you into it, get you understanding it. A lot of people, a lot of restaurants, a lot of shops do salads so bad, and they can be exciting, colourful, tasty, and I eat them every day because I want to, not because it's healthy, okay? So I want to get your head around a few principles. So first things first, if you want to save money and have a better product and have, you know, just better quality salad leaves, buy salad heads. It's a tiny bit more of a faff, but let me talk you through that. You can buy heads of oak leaf, radicchio, watercress, endive, your little gem lettuce like this, and there's many more different types of salad. What you do is you just take the outer leaves off, take the core out, wash them in clean water, and maybe wash them in different batches of clean water until it's all nice and clean, and then just drain it in a colander. And then that way you're going to save a load of money, to be frank. The bag stuff is convenient, but at the same time, if you want to save money and have a better product, that's the way to go. Now, one of the things that a lot of people don't have, that I absolutely swear by, is a salad spinner. And basically, it's a little bowl like that, with a spinner, with a basket here like that. And you just spin them like that. And it's not one of those annoying gadgets that look good but you never use. The whole reason that this is important is because all of that water there, right, that water here, isn't sticking around your salad leaf. And the reason that that's good is when you do a dressing, it's going to stick to that leaf. And also the water, if it was left on, would make your dressing, even if it was good, really bland. If you haven't got one of these, you don't have to buy one, they're convenient. What you can do is get a nice clean tea towel, put it in the middle, take up the corners, and just spin it around like a nutcase, and all the water will come off and it'll be great. So let's get your head around what makes a good salad, right? And it's dead simple, right? You can vary it, you can change it, you can tweak it to however you like it or whatever you like, and whatever's in season. But let's just start off with a basic everyday salad here. I'm using a round lettuce. It's one of the cheapest lettuces in the world, right? A little bit of radicchio, slightly bitter, but it's nice in contrast and it's good colour. If you ever want to use herbs, soft herbs are rock and roll. I'm using mint here. You could use basil. You could use parsley. And there's many other soft herbs you could use. Dill, fennel, tarragon, stuff like that. That's going to give it a little bit of fragrance, a little bit of a kick. Vegetables, right? Of course there's things like tomato and stuff like that. But you don't exactly have to just chunk it up or slice it up like you get it everywhere else. A really cheap speed peeler like this means that you can get something as lovely as a cucumber and just slice it, and you can just make it look different and interesting and exciting. And it looks like something that a chef would do, even if you're a rubbish cook. So just by doing that, I mean, I don't know any chefs, even the Japanese boys, that can knock that out every single time. Look at the thinness of that, right? You can do that, and it's cheap. Carrot, fennel, celeriac, celery, beetroots, any kind of nice, beautiful sort of root veg that you think that would be good in a salad, have a go. But again, the speed peeler, brilliant. And, you know, things like watercress here, you know, they're nice and peppery. And some endive, or you could use the radicchio, you know, they're more sort of mustardy and bitter. And maybe just on its own you wouldn't like it, but sort of lost amongst a mixed salad, you know, it's going to give it all sorts of different flavours and it will really, really work.
Excellent. Welcome back, viewers. And that VT there was from Jamie Oliver. Keeps it real, doesn't he, Felicity?
Absolutely. I think Jamie is absolutely great. You know, and he went to America and had tremendous success there, fought a real political battle with the food manufacturers, but he stuck to his guns. And I remember he brings out a great barrel load of sugar and says, this is what your child consumes in the first 5 years at nursery school. They're giving them milk. And really, really good. So good for Jamie.
As we just saw on that VT, he was talking about the salads. Now, when we think we're going to have a salad, some of us might be thinking, oh, it's just going to be a piece of lettuce and that's it. But you really can make it exciting, can't you?
Oh, it's wonderful. And I put vegetables and fruit in with mine, you know, used to radishes and things like that. But I love to put little bits of pineapple in and segments of satsumas, for instance, or tangerines. And really make it an exciting salad, and that can be your main meal. You know, that would be a lunch when people are first coming off ordinary food and they want to have something a bit more substantial for lunch. The thing is, a big green salad is great.
And what about making your own dressings?
Yes, and make a lovely dressing. I have a honey, mustard and lemon dressing. That's my favourite. And the thing is, as he says, to dry those leaves, when you've washed the lettuce, to really make sure they're completely dry. And then the oils will stick to the leaves better. And you have a really gorgeous, gorgeous salad. And, you know, to start with, you could put some crouton with it.
Little tricks of the trade there.
Oh, a little bit of garlic bread, dare I say it.
Should we, Felicity?
I love garlic bread.
Love
garlic bread. And I kid myself that the garlic is so good for you that you can get away with a little bit of bread with it.
Is that your excuse?
Yes, that's right. Yes, you think
we're
all
all,
these things
that's
up.
it. I love it. We're all normal, Felicity,
Absolutely.
and even you're just normal as well.
Definitely. I mean, I was on the worst possible diet. I really was.
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, I'm, you know, I'm not just saying this is what we should all do because I've been doing it for years.
Yes.
I actually came to this, you know, a few years ago from a dreadful, the good old Western diet, and because that's how I was brought up.
Yes.
And at school you had to have, you know, meat and vegetables and every day. At school on Friday you had fish, and we had macaroni cheese. Oh my goodness. we had all those bad things. But it was filling food, which of course was cheaper for the school.
Of course, of course.
And but now, of course, I'd much rather have my salads and my juices. I absolutely love them.
What would you recommend to our viewers who are watching today and they're saying, "I want that looks good, that sounds great, I want to change my life"? Where do I start? How many juices should I be having a day, for example?
Well, I would say if they've come from the ordinary Western diet, start by getting a vegetarian quiche, because that's quite filling, but you're still getting a lot of vegetables in it. So, you know, we have to go gently. The way it depends how ill people are. If they're really ill, they have to go cold turkey. But if you're easing your way into it, then you can do that. And a vegetarian quiche that you make yourself, or you can buy. You can buy some good vegetarian ones. So that would be a way in, and you know, gently get into it. But not to be hungry. The thing is never to get yourself hungry, because when you're hungry, you will cheat.
Now, what do you recommend in those situations?
A Mars bar. No, we can't do Mars bar.
You didn't say that. We can edit that out.
But that is what people will go for. They'll then think, I would kill for a cheese sandwich, you know. So we're going to have fun, I think, with this month that Leslie's doing, because people are going to do little selfies, yes, and film a little bit of, you know, when they're feeling really bad, they're going to say, I'm just longing for whatever it is. And, you know, then we're all real. And the thing is, you have to realize it takes a little bit of discipline.
Yeah.
But we have got so many wonderful things to help us through, like that gorgeous salad that we've just seen.
I think it's a fantastic idea that Leslie came up with, us all juicing together, because that's the point. Because especially when you work together as well, you spend more time at work than you probably do with your family during the week. And I know from the past, and we've been in the office, and there might be a tin of biscuits open there near the printer. So you walk past towards the printer, and obviously, just take one. I'll take one, and that's kind of where you get used to it. And if we're all in that if we're all in the right mindset, obviously we'll try and eliminate those little temptations.
And you'll all be watching each other as well. You know, that's accountability, I think they call it in these dieting classes. So this is not a diet, this is just a healthy lifestyle, and we gradually move towards it. And it is fun, actually, to be accountable as well, and to see the weight loss. You know, the scales never lie, just like blood tests, they never lie as well. And so when you're at Hippocrates, you know, you get weighed when you arrive, you get weighed when you leave. They can tell if you cheated for the daily blood test. They do a blood test. Okay. So if the girls had been out to dinner the night before, you know, it would show up on the blood test. And I didn't go out because I thought, you know, I spent all this money to go and train. I'm not going to throw it away by going and having a sneaky Chinese, Indian meal or something. So yeah, I found that my breathing cleared up so much, and you know, skin clears up, and people generally get this buzz of energy.
That's probably what most people are thinking. And what are the changes that I'll physically see in myself when I do something like the juice diet?
Well, the first few days, if you've been on meat and coffee, you know, you're going to feel absolutely ghastly for the first few days. And this is why it's good to be in a situation where you're with other people. When you're at Hippocrates or people are with me, I can sort of nurse them through that stage. And, you know, you can do the colonics, you can do the infrared sauna to sweat out the toxins. It just means you're getting rid of the toxins. And so the temptation is to say, well, I must have a coffee, you know, and you go back and have a coffee. Then you've retoxed and you've undone all the good of maybe you've done 48 hours. All you need is that third day to get you clean. And so it's good to be doing it together, and it's good for people to be honest and say, right, I'm finding it hard, but I'm going to stick with it. Because
I guess the biggest problem or struggle that people might come across is the mental struggle that they'll have, because when we want the temptations, it's our mind saying, we really want this, we really want this. And what would you recommend during those times? Because we obviously, if we're going to do something like the juice fast, we need to prepare our minds, and it's great that you're saying in advance, you are going to struggle for the first few days. Not that we all of a sudden we get there, we're doing it, 2-3 days later, we're feeling this feeling, and where is this coming from? You give it up, you're scared. But you're kind of preparing yourself for something as well.
Well, the thing is to go for a run, if you can. Go for a run, just divert yourself somehow.
Yes.
If you can afford to go to a spa and, you know, go and swim, go to a swimming pool, go and play a sport, do something. Don't just sit there and think, I'm so hungry. So you want to go out and do something.
Not to a supermarket.
To have a massage, that would be really good if people can go and do that. And as I say, have a sauna, because then you're sweating out toxins really fast. And you want to be reading a very inspirational book on this as well.
Yes.
I mean, we have got this book that he's written. I've written my book, God's Healing Word. And I think we need to be re-inspired all the time. When you see, you know, the Joe Cross film, Fat, Sick and Nearly Dead, that is highly inspirational.
Exactly.
And Food Matters by the firm that brought out those wonderful DVDs as Cancer is Curable Now. I mean, they're all saying the same thing, basically, that our sickness, our dis-ease is caused by our lifestyle. And we're too sedentary and we're living on the wrong things. And watching the box, you know, eating out of a box and getting put in a box, as one of the doctors said on one of the previous programs. So I think it's the mental. The mental battle is the one to win first, and then the physical one will follow. It's like when you have the blood test and you see how your cells react to a fat or sugar. You realize exactly what you're doing to your body when you do have the wrong foods. So it's really interesting to see how that works. The live and dried blood microscopy. Very interesting.
Okay, well, let's take a look at our next VT that we have available. This is called the Juice Recipes to Help Eliminate Parasites. Let's take a look.
Okay, so I'm going to be making a juice recipe here for the girls. They're on a parasite cleanse, and parasites are rampant. 95% of the people have them, and they actually pretty much control your eating habits, and they pretty much control your emotions and your mind. Now, everyone says, oh, parasites are a third world thing. That's what the doctors will tell you. No, parasites are everywhere. They're in your pets, they're in on the carpet, they're in the air, they're everywhere, and they get into us because we have these environments inside of us that allow them to thrive. So what we're doing is we're cleaning up the girls here, and we're making an inhospitable environment for the parasites to thrive. Now, dairy, meat, cheese, grains, all leaving behind lots of mucus, allowing the parasites to thrive, okay? Now, so I'm going to just make this juice tonic to help support them. This is like a liver cleansing, kidney cleanser, bodybuilder, energizer, strengthener. This is an all-over juice for anybody who's interested in radiant health, okay? I've got, oh, let me start off here. Let me do this here real quick. If someone would transcribe this, that would be really, really great. So here we've got one bundle of the freshest, most beautiful dandelions, liver purifier. I've got a bundle here of parsley, kidney cleanser, adrenal strengthener, blood purifier, and deodorizer. I've got mint here to add flavor, but the essential oils in the mint also help your sweat to smell good. Can I get an amen on that one? It'll produce some nice pheromones for you and make you more attractive to members of the opposite sex. So plenty of mint for the D-dog. I've got carrots here, which are very nourishing and soothing, also helping to build the liver and soothing the GI tract as well. I've got beet here, which is another blood builder, anti-anemia, liver cleanser. Again here, the lymphatic system being pulled and moved with the lemons, astringent and tonifying the body. I've got turmeric here, which is an anti-inflammatory and anti-parasitic. The lemon peel is also anti-parasitic, as well as the parsley here. They do not like chlorophyll. Parasites don't like oxygen, they don't like chlorophyll, and they don't like clean, they won't be able to proliferate in a clean host. Ginger here, again, anti-parasitic, cardiotonic, good for the heart, good for the digestion, good for any type of nausea. And I've got the apples as the base, which is a sweetener, a dissolver. Apples are really good at dissolving a lot of accumulations all throughout the body. And then I've got some Mother Earth minerals for the healthy woman here. The girls really love this stuff. Another thing that the parasites do not like is minerals. And that is the key to your healthy success. I won't go into what minerals are, maybe in another video, but minerals are frequencies of energy and light, and the parasites cannot proliferate in someone's body who has a high.
Hi there, viewers, and welcome back. In your opinion, just explain to our viewers about parasites. What are parasites?
Well, they're all the little ticks and insects that cause nasty disease in our body, many, many different kinds of diseases. And a lot of, the Brits love their pets, their animals. And we know that they don't have the most hygienic of habits, if you think what dogs sometimes do to clean themselves. And then they come along and give you a slobbery kiss right on the face. Yeah. So, I mean, I had 2 beautiful Labradors at one stage, and I was once ill, and I remember my doctor came in the room and said, "Get those dogs out of this room," yeah. because they could well be the source of infection. And, I always loved animals, so I found that quite shocking, really, but it's absolutely true. And this guy, he does know what he's talking about. He's been doing this quite some time, the life generator. And in America particularly, there is a great proliferation of something called Lyme disease, and that's from a tick bite. And you get a particular kind of rash around the bite. And I think that a lot of the autoimmune diseases, I know some are caused by the vaccinations, some are caused by the lifestyle, can also be caused by parasites. And I sometimes have people who've been ill literally for years with ME, and I always say do a parasite cleanse. It's really important to really detox the body thoroughly. And of course doing the colonics. I mean, people have the most awful parasites coming out of their body, and worms, for instance. We worm our dogs. Yeah. We ought to worm ourselves as well, actually, because you do pick these things up. It's very easy, walking on the beach or walking in long grass. You can just pick them up when you're barefoot. And so it's another little thing to watch out for. If people have got a mystery illness and they don't know, quite why, do a really, really good detox, a really good cleanse.
Wonderful. It was mentioned in the clip there about talking about the health and the cleansing, and it was mentioning the different ingredients such as and the benefits. So, for example, let's take dandelions. They're good for your liver.
Yes, that's right. You see, it's a blood cleanser, and we do need, our liver is so important. The liver really is the mechanism by which we do detox. The blood goes through and collects the toxins, which is why we do the coffee enemas and the colonics, because that really stimulates the liver to eliminate these nasty toxins. So very important to do that. The dandelion is really good. And so people, we've always weeded and thrown out our dandelions. Well, now we can juice them.
Excellent. And the parsley is good for your kidneys and your blood.
That's right.
Wonderful.
The parsley is wonderful. It tastes really good.
We
Very
also
often, people have a plate of something in a restaurant, they'll leave the parsley on the side.
Yes, exactly.
And in fact, that's probably the most nutritious thing on the plate.
Just to go through some of the other items here is mint makes your sweat smell good.
That's good.
That could be important. Your carrots is good for anti-anemia. Beets are good for blood, liver, and anti-anemia. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory, and apples is a sweetener.
That's right. They're all good. You see, and we're juicing all these things. Exactly. So when we're suddenly moving from the fish and chips diet or the hamburger diet onto these gorgeous things, the cells are going to respond so quickly. And as I say, the first thing is you get this great burst of energy about 3 or 4 days after you've detoxed. You suddenly feel tremendous energy. The breathing is easier. You're losing weight, so the moving is easier. You're able to get rid of arthritis. Arthritis is inflammation in the body. So once we detox, that will disappear. That will disappear. it is wonderful to see people get well, and that's really what fires me to do what I do, because it's lovely to get the letters from people. You know, this morning I had a lot of emails saying how people are so much better from a whole myriad of different diseases, you know, from the attention deficit disorder in children, the arthritis in older people. But this really is how we're meant to live. This is what God originally told us in Genesis, that this was what we were supposed to be eating.
Yeah.
And you know, it's funny that people can be such Christians in inverted commas, but they don't know the basics that God has actually said. This is how we should live.
Yes.
And when we go back to God's way, lo and behold, it's always right.
Now, we were talking earlier about with some of the members of Revelation are going to be doing the Super Juice Me challenge or the Super Juice Me diet, and we were also talking how it's important to be doing it with other people as well, because it's important that we do it with a group of other people, or at least somebody else, because you can kind of motivate each other at the same time.
Well, that's the thing, because you won't find any support from the rest of the family unless they're doing it with you, because basically people are challenged.
But what about when they see the results?
Oh, well, then that's different. But they'll try to put you off.
Yes.
Because they don't want the challenge of having to do it themselves. And they say, oh, I'll do it my way. And you think, oh, yeah, I know. It's all cheating all the way through. But the thing is that if you're doing it with a group and you've got support, you've got moral support there, and you'll all go maybe just have a swim together, or you'll go to the spa together, but you know, you are on a journey with the other people, and that's tremendous. But if somebody on their own, for instance, has been to train at Hippocrates, and they come home, and everyone will say, well, you know, you look good, but, you know, are you getting enough? The first thing is they'll say, are you getting enough protein? Because you're not having meat and fish or chicken. So we say, actually, we're getting the best protein in the world from the green leafy vegetables. And people don't know that because they haven't been educated that way. But in fact, that is the best protein you can have. And there are other things like the probiotics are very important. You know, you can get these little capsules, acidophilus. People can eat the sauerkraut. You know, the Germans have been eating sauerkraut for years, which is a fermented vegetable. The cabbage, and cabbage is really good for you, of course. So cabbage and apple, wonderful. And really, it's getting back to good natural foods.
Fantastic. Now, I also wanted to ask you, what are your thoughts on nuts and seeds? Because when you're juicing, can you have anything in between the juices?
You can. I mean, it depends the way Leslie's going to do it. And I haven't been trained in that particular one that Jason Vale does. But I know that the nuts and the seeds are really good for people to snack on, because they want something crisp. They want something just as a filler. Yeah. And the macadamia nuts, the almonds, of course, are wonderful. You can also make them into nut butters with the masticating juices, the you know, the slow push juices with the gear, like an auger. And so that's really good to have. And if you want to spread, then what I do is open up an avocado and just use the flesh of the avocado as a spread. So you're getting really healthy spread with the essential fatty acids, because the nuts and the seeds are giving you the essential fatty acids, which we need for our brains particularly to work.
What are some very tasty and interesting recipes that we can prepare for our children? Because, for example, our children come home from school, they're hungry, they want a snack before dinner. What would you recommend for that?
Well, I would say gazpacho, or guacamole, or hummus.
Yeah.
Because they're all lovely. You know, the hummus is with the chickpeas.
Yes.
And that's a delicious little filler. And the flaxseed crackers are wonderful. So you can easily make the flaxseed crackers. So you're getting flax seeds instead of the wheat. So you're not getting the gluten and the gliadin from the wheat. Yeah. So there's lots of lovely ways that you can get the children involved, and especially if they make the things themselves, you know, they will really want to eat them.
That's the point. That's where if you start, for example, growing your own fruits and vegetables yourself, and we're not saying you need to buy an allotment or you need a huge garden, because you obviously can just use a simple window box, for example. But it's if they just see how it all works by just planting the seeds and seeing it all grow and then finally eating it, that's educating it in themselves anyway, isn't it?
Well, that's the fun of it, yes. And, you know, little fingers love to get dirty in the soil and plant little things and water them. And, you know, it's really exciting, and it's really, you're passing on a great new way of life, really, for the children. It's, you know, it's regeneration of the old ways that we used to grow things, and I think we will come back to that, because things are getting so expensive and so controlled that the only way we're going to have really healthy food is to grow our own food.
Now, we were mentioning earlier about exercise, because we're talking about eating the right foods, the right fruits and vegetables and the juicing and everything, but exercise is something that is also so important to go hand in hand, because that's when you talk about the lifestyle. It's a lifestyle change. And exercise is important. It's
vital, because we've got to move, we've got to get the circulation going, we've got to get the lymph moving as well. And also exercise brightens the spirits a lot. You know, when you get out, you have a walk, or you play some football as you guys play, you know, it's really good to get out and be with other people and take the exercise. And I think our sedentary lifestyle has done so much to make people ill, make them depressed, because they're stuck indoors and maybe just watching the TV, which most of the time, apart from Revelation TV, of course, is the normal programs are pretty depressing, and the soap operas, you know, are so godless, really. And people feel this sort of hopelessness, you know, that life hasn't got any meaning. And we've read the end of the book and the Bible, and we know that we win. So, you know, better things are coming.
I think the juicing challenge is something that it's not only about your health or eating the right things, but it's also getting your mind in the right place as well. And it's in a way, it's a lesson in life to know that if you set your mind to do something, you can achieve it, and being strong. And I'd love to encourage people today who are watching today's program. You might be in any sort of circumstance, situation in your life, whatever it may be, but God has a plan for you. Just trust in God, believe in God, because He really does have a plan. Certain times in life, things might not be going the right way, but just believe things will work out in the end. And you need to be mentally strong. And if you do set your mind to anything, you can achieve anything. And that's how we need to live life.
Absolutely right, yes. It's mind, body and spirit, you know, it's a spiritual thing, which I think is so important. And that's where we get the peace from our Bibles, from reading our Bibles, and knowing that all these people have been through greater trials than we're going through at the moment. And with the news, you know, we know that tough times are ahead. And so really, to get self-sufficient, growing your own fruit and vegetables, looking after yourself, teaching your children how to grow these things as well, is going to be absolutely vital.
Absolutely. Well said, Felicity. In just a few seconds, because we haven't got long now, just give your words of encouragement, inspiration to our viewers.
Well, here I am. I have got well this way, so that's why I'm so passionate about it. And I know that when we come back to God's food and we start moving as we're supposed to, you know, in the Bible it says that we live by our work, and so we know that we can actually restore and get ourselves fit again, get well and stay well.
Thank you so much, Felicity, as every week, for joining us today. Thank you also to our viewers. Just remember that we have a website on Revelation TV. It's got a catch-up service, revelationtv.com. We're doing the Get Well Challenge. Log on to Twitter. Twitter is #GetWellChallenge. Viewers, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, and be encouraged, and we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear your testimonies. Stay smiling, have a fantastic day, and we'll see you same time next week on Revelation. God bless. Bye.